The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised. In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now. Oh my God, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, buddy, everything's listening. Like trash talking radio.com. The best of business. Say it for Wrestling fans, Radio Land. Listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com. Guaranteed from 7 to 10 o'clock. Here, guys, like myself, the youth gambling guys come out.
It is Trash Talking Radio. It is Tuesday. It is the best night of the week. And where's my picture? Wait a minute. Oh, there I am. Okay. There we are. Doug's here, and I'm here, and ready to do business. How you doing, Doug?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I was out in the sun all day, so I thank God for air conditioning.
What about the little mishap you had on the way?
I hit a tire. It's a familiar story to you.
Very familiar.
There were four pieces of tire in the road. I avoided 3 of them, but I couldn't avoid the fourth.
Oh, wow.
I did $1,000 damage to my car.
Well, there is a good sign. I mean, you didn't do as bad as I did with mine.
Thank God.
That was, and that's your new car, right?
What?
That's your new car, right?
That's my new car.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's the way it always happens. So the tires look for new cars. They don't look for old beat up cars. So that just is the way it is.
No, it did quite some damage to my car.
Mm. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not a good way to start your journey for sure.
So that's why I'm not live, everybody. I'm at my mother-in-law, my wife's mother, and sitting in my wife's bedroom doing this by computer.
Yeah, would have been nice
like
to.
Always.
Would have been nice to see you.
40 minutes away.
Yeah, it sucks, but hey, you know it is what it is, and it happens. Actually, there was something I applied for. Did I apply for that? I think there was something in Ohio that was I might have applied for. I'm trying to think if I applied for it or not. But yeah, it's I can't remember what it was now. There was something. Yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I remember. If I remember. I'm going crazy though. I did 2 auditions before this show started. I've been little by little trying to put all my stuff together and what I'm taking to Florida. But you know, it doesn't matter how much time I put into it. I'm gonna forget something. I don't know what it is that I'm gonna forget, but I'm gonna forget something. So that's crazy. But I already know what clothes I'm gonna wear. I already know I'm gonna do a Mike Trash band look. It's just going to be a music look, and then the other 3, I have 4 looks. The other 3 I'm going to do are going to be professional looks, professional photos. So I just figured I needed to have a new band look. So yeah, kind of fun. But all right, let's get things rolling here. Let's see. Where's my cursor? Why don't I see my cursor? Where are you? Is this the right? Okay. It's moving there. Why isn't it moving here? Oh, there we are. Okay. Now we got it. Okay. All right. First thing, we got one death. And you're probably very familiar with this person. It's your generation. Did you know of it? Did you know who?
I know of no death.
Okay. Did you listen to Mott the Hoople?
Yes.
Did you listen to Bad Company?
Absolutely.
He is the legend of both of those bands, and he is the founder of both of those bands. His name is Mick Ralphs.
Mick Ralphs.
Yeah, I never knew his name, but I love Bad Company, and I would love to sing in a Bad Company tribute band. I mean, I like a lot of Bad Company. But Mott the Hoople, that was pretty cool too. It's hard to believe that they were the same. Basically, had a lot of the same people in it because the style of music was so different.
So different.
But one of the songs that Bad Company did was from Mott the Hoople. So I will get this started and we will watch it and see if we got it. Hopefully it will work. For some reason. There we go. There he is. And it's weird because I see this guy and I never knew his name, but when I thought about it, I didn't know too many people's names from that band.
Rock legend Mick Ralphs, founding guitarist of Bad Company and Mott the Hoople, died at 80. Mick Ralphs, the influential British guitarist and co-founder of 2 of rock music's most iconic bands, Mott the Hoople and Bad Company, has passed away at the age of 80. Known for his unforgettable riffs, humble presence, and songwriting that defined an era, Ralphs leaves behind a no-longer musical legacy that spans more than 5 decades. Born Michael Jeffrey Ralphs on March 31st, 1944, in Herefordshire, England, Ralphs taught himself guitar by ear and rose to prominence in the late 1960s as a founding member of Mott the Hoople. He played a pivotal role in shaping the band's grim-infused hard rock sound, songwriting tracks such as Rockin' an Old King, One of the Blues, and the band's first classic, All the Way from Memphis. In 1973, Ralph made a bold transition by forming Bad Company alongside singer Paul Rogers, drummer Simon Kirk, and bassist Bob Burrell. The band's 1974 debut album Bad Company topped the charts, going 5 times platinum in charting radio hits such as Can't Get Enough, Rock Steady, and Ready for Love, the latter originally written and recorded with Martha Nickel. Ralph's playing style was never about flash, it was about feel. His signature guitar work was economically and emotionally charged, crafting riffs that were attainable with any vocal melody. Throughout the 1970s and beyond, he helped define the new rock sound, selling over 40 million albums worldwide between his work with those bands. Despite his fame, Ralph remains humble and soft-spoken, often downplaying his influence. He never learned to read music, relying instead on intuition and non-musicality. A lifelong connoisseur, he favored English beer and famously kept his guitar collection small and purposeful. His favorite, a Gibson Les Paul Jr. with custom writers, Ralph continued to tour and record into the 2000s, though his stroke in 2016 ultimately ended his performing career. In recent years, he lives quietly in the English countryside, staying connected with the band and family albums. Achievements of honor. Over 40 million albums sold worldwide across both bands. Bad Company won 5 times platinum in the U.S. His work has been sampled, covered, and admired by artists across genres. Both Master People and Bad Company have been cited as influences by members of Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Foo Fighters, and more. Ralph was a musician's guitarist, never flashy, always tasteful, and powerful melodic. Nick Ralph never learned to read music, was played entirely by feel. His instinctive, bluesy approach made his riff iconic. He suffered from nerve damage in later years, which sadly ended his live performance days after 2016. Despite decades of fame, Ralph remained modest, once saying, "I never wanted to be a guitar hero. I just wanted to play the songs right." He is survived by his sons, grandchildren, and a legacy of music that continues to inspire generations. Tributes have poured in from across the rock world. He was a brother in rhythm, said Paul Rogers. We were just boys with guitars and dreams. Nick knew the dream sound real. He and member of Martha Nickel called him the musical backbone of everything he did. Nick Ralph leaves behind a catalog of music that still electrifies, comforts, and inspires. Whether blasting out of muscle cars, vinyl record players, or Bluetooth speakers, his guitar voice lives on. He is survived by his family, fans, and a million memories made louder by his strings. Rock on, Nick. You truly can't get enough of a legacy like yours. From the gritty stages of London Park to the stadiums of America, Nick Ralph never chased fame. He simply played great music. His riffs, his songs, and his quiet brilliance live on in every bar of rock played around the world. Nick Ralph, March 31st, 1944 to June 19th, 2025. Rock Steady.
There you go. Wow. That guy's a legend. I mean, definitely. And I didn't even know who he was until I heard, but all the stuff he did, all the music he was responsible for, that guy was definitely a good guy. And it's weird because when I think of Mott the Hoople and when I think of Bad Company, I think of two different types of music, but I shouldn't because it's the same guy. It's just weird to think about that. And, it was just good to listen to that kind of music, though. But he sang with Paul Rogers, or he played with Paul Rogers, Paul Rogers is a legend, too. But he made it to 80. These guys, back when we were kids, they were dying young. They were dying at 28. That was a magic number. Janis Joplin and yeah, all these guys died real young, and it just was crazy to think about that. So I just think it's nice that somebody actually made it. I guess it's
solids and drinking smoothies.
That's what it is. I don't know. But it's funny to think about these guys, a different type of generation, a different mindset, but it's just really cool to see that these guys are living. I mean, look at Mick Jagger. How could he live to be, it's weird to think that he's outlived a lot of these guys. But hey, it just is, hopefully I'll be able to hit that 80 or whatever. Nick's like over 80 now, I guess.
He's over it.
But I mean, they lost Charlie Watts. I don't know. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Bad Company? Or were you a big Mott the Hoople fan?
Not a big Mott the Hoople fan, but a big Bad Company fan.
Yeah. That's the way I am too. Mott the Hoople was cool, but I never realized that there were members that were in both those bands because they just sounded so different to me. But hey, that's why they get paid the big bucks, because they make these songs and people listen to them, and to think that they sold 40 million albums worldwide, that's unbelievable. That's a lot. A lot of albums. So 5X Platinum in the U.S. And the fact that a lot of people have sampled their music. When they say that Mott the Hoople and Bad Company were influenced, they influenced Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Foo Fighters. I can hear in Def Leppard, because Def Leppard is cool, because they put out a couple tribute songs. And I guess I don't think I've ever done Mott the Hoople song, but I've done Bad Company. I do Bad Company right now, so I like Bad Company stuff. And the fact that he didn't read music, that's kind of cool. So
it's pretty hard to be a prolific writer and not do music.
No, you'd be surprised how many people that is, because there are a lot of guys. The guys I'm working with right now, they read music and stuff, but a lot of members of the bands I played with didn't. But it's just really cool. All right, we'll move on to the next phase of this. We only have a couple people for the birthday game, and they're good ones. So I think I'll start with the ones that you don't know, because I only have a couple here. You probably don't know Kim Dickens.
No.
You probably aren't a Walking Dead fan or a Fear the Walking Dead fan, but she was the lead in Fear the Walking Dead. And I'm surprised at her age. I would have never guessed that she was 60. Never. In my wildest dreams. But yeah, I liked her. They really did a good job. I'm surprised they didn't move her when they canceled that show. I'm surprised they didn't move her over to one of the other shows. Because she had a badass type attitude. She started out not as badass, but she turned into that badass person. I liked her role. All right, next one. I don't know if you know her or not, but Carol Kane.
Yeah.
She's been around for a long time. She did a lot of movies with.
She was in Star Trek, I see.
Yeah, she was in a whole bunch of things that were really cool. But she's actually, I was surprised of her age. So you're gonna guess, or should I just tell you?
Just tell me.
She's 73, and she's aging well. There's a picture of her when she at 73, I think. So, but she actually, she worked with Andy, what's his face? Andy Kaufman. The others you should know. Let's see. The next one is Nicole Kidman. That is right there. She worked in some Tom Cruise movies and some really big movies.
49.
58.
58.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that, but I would have guessed that she was probably not 49 because I've seen her in so many movies for so long. But I think she aged well. Because I don't see any pictures here where she looks like she's in her 70s. Or no, 50s, late 50s, almost 60. So, beautiful woman. Another beautiful woman, John Goodman, coming up. Here we go. You know, for a guy that's been around for as long as he has, his look has changed tremendously. He started out, being a big guy, and then you see where he is now today. And actually, one of the last shows he did was the Gemstone show on Max, where he played a minister, and he looked pretty much like this. And that was an obnoxious show, but I liked the show a lot. It was just crazy. And then he was doing other stuff at the same time. He was doing the Connors show, which I thought was interesting. But he's really. Any idea what age?
I'm going to guess 55.
73.
You're kidding.
No. He did the Blues Brothers thing too for a while. And then lastly, but not leastly, I think you might possibly know this guy, but it's a long shot. Sir Paul.
What?
Sir Paul.
Sir Paul. He's got to be 82.
83. So you got it. So, yeah, I think it's interesting to see that he's out there still touring. Rolling Stones still touring. The guys are out there doing their thing. So I hope when I get that age, I'm still doing something. I don't know. I just can't imagine. These guys are like, I thought Mick Jagger would have been gone a long time ago. Just the amount of drugs and stuff that those guys did. So who knows? Oh, by the way, I posted this around midnight last night, and we have 300 and really? Oh no, that's subscribers. We have 23 views. So 23 people watched it. That's since last night, midnight. So I like that. We're getting more people and more people that are. I would tell you by next week we're going to see a much higher number. So be prepared for another test of the last 2 months or something. All right, next. We got some weird stuff. Okay, R. Kelly, who is in jail. A couple years ago, he went to jail for. What was it? It was for. Freaking A. I can't remember what he went to jail for. It was some dating young women or something like that, maybe. Anyway, he apparently. So I can get this. Oh, there we go. Suffers a near fatal overdose in prison. I want to know how you get drugs in prison. Yeah, apparently. And he had here hospitalized after prison overdose, alleged. Oh, here it comes. Now we're going to have this. Now I'm not going to be able to read this. Alleged murder plot, lawyers say. So this guy was doing some pretty good money at one point. Lawyers for R. Kelly are alleging that the singer overdosed last week on medication given to him by the prison staff. The singer's legal team, in a June 17th filing, said that claims that after being placed in solitary confinement, prison staff provided him with an overdose quantity of medication on June 12th compared to his normal anxiety and sleep medication, leading to hospitalization June 13th. So he was forcibly removed from Duke University Hospital in North Carolina against medical advice. R. Kelly, there we are, has been serving a 30-year prison sentence for racketeering and sex trafficking since 2022. He's serving his sentence in the Federal Correction Institute of Butler, North Carolina. So that's what he was in trouble for. I couldn't remember. I knew that he was in trouble for something. I just didn't remember what it was. And that may be part of what made Diddy fall, too. You know, all these guys were doing that kind of stuff on the side. I don't know. That's what I think.
Well, he's not the nicest guy to live, so.
I don't think any of those guys that were in that industry were. And so we almost lost him. So our tax dollars still have to pay to keep him in there. Elon Musk has been in the news again. This time, his AI company is in talks to raise $4.3 billion in equity funding for the AI. Now, AI, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, he took and merged the AI company with X. So this money is only for the AI company, though. And actually, he's talking about using the AI for Tesla cars. And that'll be interesting because the cars are pretty smart as it is. But if you put AI on top of that, you could have some think about how AI does what it does and take that onto a real life car. And now it's going to think more about what that car is doing and what that car is doing and maybe even save some more lives. So I'm anxious to see what comes out of all that.
Well, if anybody can do it, Elon can.
Yeah. I really think that another story of Eli, since we're talking about it, I got another story about that. Robotaxi started this week. And I guess I don't have all the information, but I heard that there were some issues that came up. Here we go. So Tesla's autonomous ride-sharing or ride-hailing company is projected to become a $951 billion business by 2029. Can you imagine? $951 billion just for ride sharing. I don't even know how to think about that. It's so weird to think about. But so they released 10 driverless Model Ys into the wild in Austin, Texas. Musk says all the rides will cost a flat share of $4.20. Wonder if that has anything to do with 420. And hopes to ramp up to 1,000 vehicles within months. Tesla's not is not Austin's first robotaxi, because Waymo, which is by Amazon, is the industry leader, boasting over 250,000 paid trips across Austin, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and San Francisco. And Alphabet's ZooX is available for employees and guests in Las Vegas and San Francisco, as with Waymo and ZooX. Tesla's pilot will have a driver accompanying the vehicles. The company will monitor its robotaxi service remotely, and the launch came as Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill requiring autonomous vehicles operators to acquire a permit beginning in September. Tesla's autonomous ride-hailing service is projected to do $951 billion by 2029. 2029 is just right around the corner. So
that's far away, 4 years.
Yeah. But I had seen that there was some kind of issue, and I don't think I have that information on the issue because I saw it right before the show started. So Let's see if I can find anything on that. Let's see here. See if we are lucky enough to find this. Keep you up to date to the newest stuff. All right, let's see. Robotaxi incidents caught on camera. Embarrassing truth about robotaxis. Robotaxi videos show speeding and driving in the wrong lane. That's not good.
That's not good.
Let's see what this says. All right. It says here, federal traffic safety regulators are looking into suspected problems with Elon Musk's test run of robotaxis in Texas after videos surfaced showing them braking suddenly or going straight through an intersection from a turning lane and driving down the wrong side of the road. Now, I haven't had any problems with that, with most of that stuff with my auto driving. I have seen weird problems with mine from time to time that I can't explain. So, I mean, you got to give it some time so they can work out the problems. But if they're going down the wrong lane, that would be an issue.
That's something that's correct.
Yeah, that's something that there should be. I really feel that he should have probably had someone riding in it for a while to make sure that, because we're not going to find these issues right away. Some issues apparently we're going to see right away, but it says passengers in the robotaxis have generally been impressed, and stock rose 8% Monday. Investors grew more cautious Tuesday after news of an inquiry, and stock fell more than 2%. But let's see what stock is at right now. I'm just kind of curious. I know earlier today I saw it was doing okay. Stock. So let's see. Okay, so it's the 340. It was a 225 last week. So when I saw it was a 345, I think earlier today or yesterday maybe. So I mean, I think people aren't too shocked or too confused or whatever about it. So we'll see what happens. I think I believe in the self-driving thing. I've had it long enough to. I had it. I've played around with it since 2018, and to 2018, I wouldn't have bet my life on because it really did weird stuff then. So, anyway, so it looks like they got a few problems they got to work out, but they got to work out. All the companies have to work out the issues. I think that his platform, since it was born from the ground up, they got some things they got to work on, but I don't think it's a big surprise to anyone. So, all right, let's see. Jaws turned 50.
Jaws turned 50, that's right.
That's crazy.
The scariest movie ever.
Did you ever go to Disney? Did you ever see the Jaws down in Disney? Or I think it might have been Universal. It's kind of cool because they had this. I think it's Universal because I don't think that was a Disney film. They have this shark that comes up, but you get to see the whole shark, and it's not, you have to see that it isn't a full shark. But it just was really cool to see that when I went there about 25 years ago. Yeah, I really thought it was crazy when I realized it was 50 years. It makes me feel really old. Yeah. But I was reading, what was it? There was something, there's been a lot of things in the news about this. Oh, there you go. Do you know the shark's name?
No.
Bruce. I remember that. Bruce. So, but just really cool. And to think that if they did that movie today, it would look like, I mean, if we watched this movie today, we'd probably be laughing because we'd be saying, oh, it's obviously a mechanical fish. Whereas if you had the CGI of today, you'd think it was definitely a shark. So it's just funny how the years go by and we see this change in the system and all that. But I remember that being a crazy movie. And that's at the same time that Amityville Horror came out, somewhere around then. I kind of remember that was around the same time. So
you went to see it?
Not in the, well, I don't think I went in the theaters. I think I waited till it came out on TV because my parents didn't let me go to things like that. At least they didn't think I went to things like that. But yeah, I think I may have watched it on TV. I'm not sure though. It was a long time ago. But I loved it that Saturday Night Live would make fun of it with the land shark and stuff like that. But that was pretty cool. The top 10 shows looks like is that recent? I want to make sure that's the right one. Oh yeah, okay. So here's according to the people that are in the know, the top 10 shows that are out today. I probably have not watched any of them, but we'll see. Common Side Effects, Adult Swim. Didn't watch any of that. Dark Winds. I didn't watch that yet, but I might watch that. That's on it's on AMC. Eyes of the Prize 3, Who Believe in Freedom Cannot Rest. I did not see that. So far I'm 0 for 3. I'm assuming you are too.
I am.
North of North. Didn't see that one. Pee-wee as himself. I did see that one. I didn't know much about Pee-wee Herman because I just was anti-Pee-wee Herman when he was doing that show. I just thought it was so stupid. I didn't get it. And after watching the Pee-wee as himself, I understand him a little more. And I don't hate him as bad as I did. I understand because, he had one thing that was a hit, and he ran with that thing as far as he could. He didn't want to do that. It's just that that's the only thing he seemed to, do well with. So you weren't a Pee-wee Herman fan, were you?
No.
Yeah, I did
not find him funny.
No, I didn't find him funny either, but I get it. Being in the business, I get it. If I had to play some jerk off that I didn't like, but I made a lot of money at it, I would probably do that. But he wasn't successful in most of the other things that he did. He did have some side things. He was in the Penguin as or not the Penguin, he was in Gotham as the Penguin's father. And so he had some other things, but the only thing he'll ever be known for is Pee-wee Herman. So that one I saw. The Pit, I saw that. That's a great show. Were you an ER fan?
No.
Okay, then you wouldn't like this one. It's basically ER. It's ER for our generation. It actually has Noah Wyle in it, and he was in ER, and he was the lead in this. And The Rehearsal, I didn't see that, but I might watch that. The Studio, didn't watch that. So I didn't watch any of these except two of those. So I'm not as hip as I Used to be, I guess.
You're getting old, like
I am getting old, and I feel it. I feel it.
you've crossed the line.
Yeah. Well, I'm still not 80 though, and so I feel that as long as Mick Jagger's out there rocking and rolling, I'm not old yet. So, okay, SpaceX Starship explodes on the launch pad ahead of the 10th test flight. People complain that we'll see how it's not safe, but they don't seem to understand. They got to work out all the bugs on that. You don't just throw people in there and let them die of.
You lose them all.
Yeah.
According to what's happened so far.
Yeah. So I mean, he has some ships that have gone out there and come back and been successful, but yeah, that's a series of setbacks. We got a video of it. I don't know if I want to see that, but anyway, that was last Wednesday when I was in New York. Actually, I didn't talk about that. So last Wednesday, I left here at 3 in the morning and headed to New York. And I got to New York. They send out these call sheets. They tell you where it's going to be, what time you're supposed to be there, and all the interesting information. They sent out a call sheet, and I put it in my folder. And when I left, I drove, and it was a straight run. No big deal. It wasn't too bad because it was night. And I get to the place that they have on the call sheet, and it's a hospital. And I thought, wonder what this thing's going to be all about, because I have no idea. They don't tell me what we're going to be doing. And so I called somebody to say, where do I meet you? Because all it had was just the address. And I said, I'm at the hospital. They said, oh, well, that's not the right place. I said, well, what's the right place? And they gave me the address. They had both addresses on this call sheet, but the one was a holding address, and they had the hospital as a holding address. Well, here they sent out a second call sheet about a half hour before I called. So I was already en route. And I went to check in at the hospital. It's good I didn't go in the hospital, because they would have said, what are you talking about? The place that we met at was a place down the street from the hospital. But apparently the person who did the call sheet did it wrong and didn't put the right address on there, and they sent out a correction. And all the people that were local got the correction, and I didn't get the correction until after I was already in New York at the wrong place. So anyway, so we get there, and I have no idea what the band looks like. I have no idea who anybody is, and we had probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had about probably 7, between 6 and 7 police officers. I was a police officer, and so I changed into my stuff, and everything looked pretty interesting. I mean, I looked like a cop, so that's what I was supposed to do. And they showed us the room. They had this building that was abandoned in 2019. It was an office building, and that was supposed to be our headquarters. And I saw the 2 people that were the band members, and I said, I talked to the one, and he just totally ignored me. I didn't know if he ignored me or if he didn't hear me. So I just let it go and didn't say anything. And then I saw he had this really cool belt. And I'm into belts because rock and roll belts, He had this giant belt. And I asked him where that came from, and he told me it was his designer or whatever. And then he started talking to me. So it was just, I didn't want to be too sensitive earlier, so he told me whatever he told me. And we started talking and stuff. And he was a pretty cool guy. And the girl, she was pretty cool. They put these big horns on his head. And he looked kind of menacing with the horns and stuff. But we had a good discussion, and I guess they funded their own, they're an independent label. They funded their own recording and stuff. And anyway, so the premise is the the people, their people, break into the police department carrying a bazooka.
Carrying a bazooka.
A bazooka? Yeah, they're serious business, man. And they walk down the aisle that we're in. And originally I didn't have a whole lot of things to do. They just had me as like a background guy, and I changed that around a little bit. I didn't want to be just a background guy. So what they did was they'd walk down, and then the girls that were following them started throwing our papers off our desks all over the floor and stuff. And my job was to go pick those papers up and then run away. I didn't like that idea. That wasn't a good idea. So the one time they did that, I walked out in the hall and I was carrying papers. I looked left, I looked right, and I looked like I just threw all the papers up. And they went down on the ground, and then I walked away. And the director liked that, so I got to do that. And then they had a scene where I'm being choked by the one girl. So this one girl was going after this guy at a copier, and I'm supposed to see her and go to warn him, but another girl comes up behind me and starts choking me. That looked pretty interesting. And then my other scene that I did was at the end they had a 360 thing going where one of the bad guys was in the middle, and then the girls attacked all of us cops, and they were all getting beat down on the ground. I didn't want to be beat down on the ground because everybody else was beat down on the ground. I wanted to stand out. So I told her I told her to jump on my back, and she said, "Are you sure you could do that?" I said, "Come on, you don't weigh anything." she was so light. I mean, I could have gone, and she would have blown away in the wind, you know. Anyway, she jumped on my back, and I did a thing that I moved around a lot, so that even though I'm out of focus because it's supposed to be focusing in on him, you know it's me, and it was kind of cool. So it was an interesting day. But one of the interesting things that happened was in the middle of the day, I checked my cameras because I'm in the city and I just don't trust anyone around my car. Well, wouldn't you know, somebody came up on my car. When I saw these guys when I was parking the car, and they were either high or drunk or something. And this is in the morning. This is like 9 in the morning. They're all messed up. Anyway, this one guy came up to my car and whipped it out and started peeing on my car. I was furious. I was like, I didn't do anything to him. Why is he coming after my car? Anyway, so I had to sit there for half a day while I know this happened, and I have to think about, well, what am I going to do? I could turn him into the police because I have video footage of it, and it wouldn't be hard to find him because he was right around the corner. And so when it was over, I just thought, I'm tired. I'm just going to get in my car. I thought about walking up to him and saying, what did you do that for? But it's not going to help me. You know, the guy's messed up. It's not going to make a difference. So I just said, whatever, we'll let it go. So I went back to my car, and I looked to see where he peed, and he only hit the plastic on the bottom. He was so messed up. He couldn't even stand straight. He was just wobbling back and forth, and he was doing whatever, you know. And I was like, no big deal. I'm going to let it go. And I got in the car and drove off. And, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason. When I got back to where 78 hits 81, right before then, all of a sudden we had this giant downpour. I mean, I have not seen it rain that hard. Sometimes I think that the higher power said, he did the right thing. Let's just wash his car. So I just continued home, and then the rain stopped. It was so hard I could hardly even see. I mean, it was that bad. And it only lasted like 5 minutes. And my car was washed, and I think the pee was washed off too. So that was the other exciting thing that happened this week. Anyway, that was my week. All right. Superman's on track to do 135 million in the U.S. I think that the movie industry must be doing okay. You know, how many movies have we?
They keep getting hit after hit after hit.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see that. I mean, I can't be saying that I gave any of that money because really I've been to one movie this year so far, but it's good to see that they're actually making it back. And then also they said that the guy that played Superman said there's no single zipper on the suit for easy bathroom access. So if you ever want to be Superman, think about that. There's no easy access to a bathroom. So, oh man, I'd be in trouble, man. I'm going to the bathroom all the time. But I really want to see that movie. It looks interesting. So, I think it'd be really cool to be in that movie. All right, here we go. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez are having a merger. And that just is fancy for saying that
one with money and one without.
That's right. That's just a
Soon to change.
Yes. Says your invite lost in the mail. No worries. Everything you need to know about the star-packed Venice nuptials of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, from the prenup to the wedding planner, plus what to get the couple that has everything. So there you go. It's the wedding of the century. Could you imagine being married with that kind of money? I mean, it's just crazy money. I mean, we're talking about $233 billion, and it's been 45 years since the term wedding of the century. Well, that's no, I don't think that's true. It says it's been 45 years, but wouldn't Princess Diana, wasn't hers the wedding of the century?
Well, couldn't have been 45 years ago.
Would it have been? What year would that be? Well, 30 years would be 95. I guess maybe, maybe. Well, she died just before 2000, didn't she?
Something like that. You know, it's really tricky. They're saying what it is, but I don't see it yet.
Yeah. Anyway,
No, there it says, I think it's going to be like the Princess Beach thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, though both grooms are among the wealthiest men in the world, Charles was, well, a prince, and Bezos, well, he's a prince too. I mean, with all that money, you can be whatever you want to be. Was raised only by his mother, who was employed as a secretary, and of course, the brides couldn't be more different. Diana Spencer was a blushing teen, while very little seems to make the 55-year-old newscaster blush. So the couple is said to be spending more than $10 million on 3-day extravaganza, beginning June 24th, beginning today. And, wow, I just think it's really, when I think about Bezos, where he came from, that man is truly, he built it from the ground up. I mean, you know what Amazon was before
It's a book. Is this another bookseller?
they bought and sold school books, college school books. That's what they started. And then they started adding printers for people to buy and computers, and then all of a sudden things went crazy. And when the bust of 2000 happened, all the dealers that sold on the internet were put on credit hold where I worked. And Bezos was the only one that survived out of all those. I mean, was the main one that survived out of all those. And we worked closely with his company. And he just really took that to a new high. I mean, I can't imagine going from just selling textbooks to where he's at now. What a story. I mean, when he was talking about his mother didn't have any money, he's got it. He's got it all now. Anything he wants. It's great. But anyway, apparently says the guest list itself, capped at 200, is filled with figures like Ivanka Trump, Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, and his ex Camilla Morone, Orlando Bloom, and Katy Perry. Whew. That's crazy. And it says here, the organizers' artful choreography of attendees won't be limited to one evening, as the weekend will stretch beyond the ceremony to a cavalcade of soirees, some of them aboard Bezos' $500 million yacht. $500 million. You're worried about your car for $1,000. He's got a $5 million yacht. Oh, man. He's got that.
Different worlds, Michael. Different
It
worlds.
is a different world. It's hard to believe we live in the same world as him. Oh, man. And he's got a truck coming out next year. An electric truck. It's supposed to be relatively cheap, too. So he's got his money tied up in some other things. If I had that much money, I'd just take the money and just have a good time. I don't know.
He has so much money, he can't have a good time enough to spend it all.
That's true. And I'm sure somebody's in his ear telling him what to buy, because how do you know what to buy at this point? So that's just crazy. You and I are never going to see that kind of lifestyle. But we don't need to see that. Things are good. Let's see. Whatever happened. Okay. You might be interested in this. Whatever happened to the cast of My Three Sons? Let's see. Nothing. See, nothing happened. They're not even here. Wait, here we go. There they are. Okay, I guess that's the cast. Now, that's not today, I would imagine. Is the Fred MacMurray still alive?
I don't know.
Oh, wow, here's one of the sons. There's another son. He don't look too much different. He looks about the same. There's the youngest one. And the dog. Where's the dog? I guess right now the
I don't
dog.
have the dog now.
He's probably gone. It's funny. Well, let's find out about Fred. Fred MacMurray played Steve Douglas, a widowed engineer. Beyond the series, he went on for. He was in The Shaggy Dog in 1959, The Absent-Minded Professor in 1961. Let's see here. Kept a low profile to 1978 when he was in The Swarm. 1987 was honored by Disney as first Disney legend. And he died in 91. He was 83. He had 4 adopted daughters. And then we've got one of the sons, I guess the oldest son. Let's see if he's around. He passed away in 2022 at the age of 81. Well, they had long lives.
Very good.
Okay, the next one, he passed away in 2012 at the age of 68, the middle son. And the oldest one is 74. He's the last living member of the cast. So, there you go. I didn't read this ahead of time. Oh, William, wasn't he William Frauweek, wasn't he the on Lucy? I bet he was. But he was. Let's see here. Yeah, he was. I Love Lucy. He was there. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, one last member of the cast is still alive. All right, next. Dolly Parton is in the news. She can't seem to retire. I understand that. She is going to do a residency in Caesar's Palace. It says here, Dolly Live in Vegas will feature 6 performances running from December 4th through 13th during the National Rodeo Finals, according to a press release. Dolly Live in Las Vegas is a hit-driven concert event bringing the global superstar back to Vegas for her extended run of 32 years. It says weaving together 7 decades of classic hits and fan favorites, including 9 to 5, Jolene, I Will Always Love You, and Coat of Many Colors, and many more. So there we go. Who would have thought?
Dolly doesn't stop.
Wow, is that Dolly Parton? Wow, she's really changed. Is that a current picture? She looks pretty good if that's her. I mean, if that's her currently, I don't imagine her being that. Let's see if we got a better picture here. That's the only picture we got of her, so we got to pretend that's her, whether it's her or not. You could buy Mark Wahlberg's house.
How much is he worth? What is his house worth?
How much would you pay for it?
$47 million.
You're really not too far off. He sold his house to Paris Hilton for $63 million. I can't imagine a $63 million. Could you imagine paying the taxes on a $63 million house? That's crazy.
Monthly payment alone.
What's that? Yeah.
Monthly payment alone.
For sure. Let's see what the house looked like. I think we probably have a picture here. $63 million. I want to see it. It's a small house. It's only 30,500 square feet.
Is that all?
Sitting on 6 acres. 6 acres and 12 bedrooms. Has a 5-hole golf course with a driving range, a sports court, skate park, wine and cigar cellar. And in 2023, Wahlberg purchased it with his wife, Rhea. I don't know who she is, but that's crazy. Let's see if we got a picture of the house. Wait, what? I just saw something. Oh. Wait a minute. Whoa. Okay, it says the new residence comes after Hilton and her husband, Carter Reum, lost their home in the Malibu wildfires in January. At the time, Hilton took to Instagram to share an emotional posting. Sitting with my family watching the news and seeing our home in Malibu burn to the ground on live TV is something no one should ever have to experience. The home was where we built so many precious memories. That does suck. I don't know what I would do.
It's a bad thing.
And it's not a money thing there. I mean, there it's just sad.
No, it's never. She said Phoenix took her first steps here, and it's all memories.
And it says, while the loss is overwhelming, I'm holding on to gratitude that my family is safe. And I had a friend that lost their house out there. So it says she donated $100,000 to victims of the wildfire, and animal shelters. She also partnered with GoFundMe and gave away more than $1 million to 50 women-owned businesses. You know, I guess I can't really down her because she's doing nice things. So,
in all my hurricane experience, like what people cried about, unless they lost somebody in the hurricane
Yeah.
or the flood. But what they cried about was the pictures
Yeah.
and their memorabilia. That's what crushed them.
Yeah. I can understand that. I was a little upset when I lost some pictures of Pam uh, due to flooding in my basement. Um, that's a tough one because you can't replace them.
No,
You know?
they're gone. Once they're gone, they're
Yeah.
gone.
Let's see here. Okay, we're getting into some. Yeah, we're getting into some. Says here. Now this is the order of things that happened. But Trump faces backlash from MAGA base after the strikes on Iran. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, on this?
Well, there's two groups in the Republican Party right now.
Okay.
There's isolationists, which they don't want to get involved in foreign wars at all. And then there's interventionists who want to be the world's police. And the two groups can't coexist.
Right.
So Trump chooses the interventionist route to the pleasure of me. But the strong isolationist route for the furious of.
Do you have a? What do you feel? What do you?
I'm more of an interventionist than an isolationist.
And
I don't want the boots on the ground. Don't get me wrong. I don't want boots on the ground.
right.
But air power, I agree with Trump. We need to do that. But that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to do that and get out, and that's what Trump did.
Yes.
He did that and got out.
And it's funny because when it happened, my first thought was, wow, what are we doing? I mean, should we be involved in this? And I thought, that means we're going to be in another war, and that means that people were right, that Trump was going to cause a war. And then they, I heard of the retaliation, and then I thought, okay, I guess this is it. And then that fizzled, and then I heard that they're going to now have a peace treaty. I thought, wow, this actually makes Trump look pretty good.
It does, but here's the thing. We may still get a retaliation. There are sleeper cells in the United States that can be activated at any time. That can do suicide bombings or whatever they could do to disrupt life, attack synagogues, attack Christian churches, just blow up people in marketplaces on holiday weekends.
Right.
That can still happen. The mullahs can still do that. I don't know if it's going to happen. They're scared of Trump. I know that the mullahs are scared of Trump. So they desperately wanted a ceasefire. And now so did Israel, because Israel was running out of missiles. They had about 12 days left of missiles. And they were going to be done. They wouldn't have been able to stop the barrage of missiles coming from Iran. So they were ready to stop the war too.
Well,
So,
I'm glad that we're going to see it stop. I mean, that would hold.
If it holds.
What's that?
If it holds.
If it holds, yeah, that's the thing. But I don't know. I was really surprised that that we got involved in it. And
Did you see Trump answer one of the questions as he was going to the helicopter? He swore. He said, I don't know what the F these two are doing. I'm sick of it. Or something along those lines. And presidents usually don't cuss like that.
some of them do. One of them does.
Well, he loves God on one hand and he cusses on another.
Right. That's the thing. I hope this lasts. I hope that we're done with it. I hope that I just, but it's going to be somebody else attacking Israel.
Well, I think there's going to be peace for a while.
I hope. I hope so. I don't know. It just is one of those things that I just have ever since we were kids. You know, it just happens every so often. There's another war there, and I don't know.
This Trump's calling is calling it the 12-day war.
Okay.
So that's why he was upset, because if they would have kept retaliating, it would have been day 13, and he'd have to change it. He'd have to change the name of the war.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man. Do you want to talk about the band thing now?
Sure.
So our band of the week, as it were, is we're going to talk about Whitesnake. And Whitesnake is an interesting band because the reason for the band is that basically David Copperfield didn't get along with anybody. But he's a great singer.
And he's a good frontman.
Yes, very much. And he had Tony Katane. That was good and bad. So I can honestly say that when they did that one video on the car.
Did you see her? Do you remember what she looked like on the video?
Yes.
She changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's dead now, so it's. But yeah, she was the hottest chick out there at one point.
Everybody watched that video just to see her.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. So they're an English band. They started in '78. I didn't realize it was '78. I didn't realize it was that long. That I thought it was in the '80s, but you know, over in England it may have been '78. But I don't know if it hit the U.S. till a little bit later. David Coverdale. What a great singer he was, or is. I guess he still is.
Still is. He's still performing.
He's got some vocals on him that are just unreal. I love the stuff he did. In fact, I am very thankful that I can actually imitate him. And that's only recently. That's only in the past couple of years that I've been able to sing those kind of stuff. But it's really good to know that I can do that.
Do you do him as Deep Purple, or do you do him as Whitesnake, or do you do him as a single artist?
Okay, so that's I would say as Deep Purple, because I'd like to do some Whitesnake stuff because I like some of their songs, and I would do some of them if I could get either band to play it. So you know, it's definitely not a matter of me not wanting to do it, or a matter of me not able to do it. It's just a matter of getting the rest of the band to agree to do it. So a lot of the bands that I'm doing, well, the one band I'm in wants some songs that are more current. So I went through and I made a list of songs that are within the past 30 years instead of the 40 or 50 that we're looking at. But I would love to do some of their stuff. I would love to do some Whitesnake, and I would do Deep Purple. When did he leave Purple? He left them in '70. Well, he must have left them around '78. So
77, 78.
yeah.
Now, did Deep Purple and Mike, or they just go to
Oh no, they got. There's been a number of singers in Deep Purple. Ian Gillian. You know, all these. There's a ton of singers, and they actually all have a really good, different vibe to them. But the sound is always going to be the same as long as Richie Blackmore's in it. So, and I love Deep Purple. We had what's his name? Little guy. Can't think of his name. Richie. Oh no. What's wait a minute. We'll find out. We're going to look into. There it is. Oh, there we go. Deep Purple. There we go. Oh man, I didn't realize this. They were born in. They were formed in '68. Deep Purple. Okay. So we got all kinds of. Oh, past members. Says Richie Blackmore is a past member. Huh. I didn't know he was a past member. I thought he was still a current member. Um, so David. Wow, they had a bunch of singers. John Lord. He was not a singer though. He was a guitar or a keyboard player, I think. Yep, he was a keyboard player. Rod Evans was a singer. I don't know him, but Nick Simper was a bass player. David Coverdale. Glenn Hughes was a guitar player. Tommy Bolin was a guitar player. Joe Lynn Turner. Now, he was also in Rainbow. Satriani. Joe Satriani was in it. And Steve Morse.
They got a lot of guitars.
They did. They had a lot of vocalists and a lot of guitarists. So the current members, Ian Pace on drums, Roger Glover on bass, Ian Gillian. Really? Oh, he's the current singer. Okay. I love Ian Gillian. Donald Airy on keyboards, and Simon McBride on guitar. So that's really a different lineup than the original. Ian Gillian is awesome. He's just got this I don't know, the range he has is so good. All of these guys, I could never hold a candle to them because they all have these songs that are just. "Sweet Child in Time" was one of their songs that I used to try to do, and I could do it really well until I got to that really high part, and there's just no way I don't know how humans can get that high, especially males. I don't know how someone can get that big, that high. So yeah. So anyway, it says in 1984 was one of my favorite albums, Perfect Strangers, and to me that was the thing that made me. I liked their earlier stuff, but that was the album that I think was their best album ever. And it says that was when it says before Ian Gillian was fired in 1989. Well, wait a minute. Are they not current? No, they're still around. Okay. I guess they must have fired him and hired him again. He was replaced by Joe Turner.
Look at all those other spin-off bands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's Ian Gillian Band, Warhorse, Rainbow, Pace, Ashton Lord. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And then I think then it was just Gillian and Whitesnake. But those were all, well, not all super bands, but a lot of those were long-lasting bands. So, yeah. But back to Whitesnake.
They said in the video that if you sneeze wrong, he'd fire you.
Yeah. He was a real pain to work with. And plus he would go in and out of bands. He would take time off, and he was kind of like me, where you get tired and frustrated and you just want to just get away from it for a while. Well, like me in much more successful way. Unlike me and many of my.
And the other thing was some of the band members were dirt poor.
Yeah. Oh, well, they made sure that they, kind of like what happened. What we talked to? Who was last week? We were.
Metallica?
No. Did we do Metallica?
I don't think we did Metallica.
Oh, okay. It was oh, freaking A! I can't remember who it was. Oh no, no, Alice Cooper wasn't it. It was wait a minute. Let me look at the list of bands because last week we talked about bands that were playing and they weren't making any money. It was Skid Row was last time, right?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Black Sabbath. That's what it was. We were talking about Black Sabbath last week, where they were in debt. They were living in these luxury houses that they paid for, but their manager screwed them out of the money, and they were living in their manager's house.
Well, in this case, it was Coverdale that screwed
Yeah.
out of the money.
Yeah, he definitely had an attitude. Probably still does. Because is he still playing? Let's see here. Oh, whoa! Wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, he was touring with Judas Priest and Iron Maiden in '81. Oh, the Monsters of Rock tour. Okay, yeah, that was a big tour. Slide it in. Okay. 88. 87, 1990. Greatest hits, 97. Maybe 2003 to 2009. 2017. The Purple album, I would assume that had Deep Purple stuff on it. Man, they took a lot of hiatuses on this band. 2018 to present. In 2018, Whitesnake toured with the U.S. with Foreigner and the Jukebox Heroes tour, and they also released the Purple Tour live album and box set Unzipped, which featured various acoustic recordings across the band's career. Whitesnake's 13th album was set to be released in 2018, was pushed back after Coverdale contracted the H3 flu. In 2018, the record was delayed again, and in 2019 to unspecified technical issues in the mixing process. In 2018, Coverdale had knee replacement surgery. He reiterated his plans not to retire. Let's see here. Are they still? Wait. There's something on Deep Purple.
In 2022. Their farewell tour. When was their farewell tour?
Thinking that's probably.
Was it 22?
I'm thinking that. Here we're talking about 21. Okay. Here it is. Meanwhile, Whitesnake began their farewell tour in May 2022, starting in the UK and Ireland with Foreigner and Europe. Whitesnake's June performance at Hellfest. They were joined by Steve Vai. Later that month, the band was forced to cancel several shows after Tommy Aldridge fell ill. Coverdale was diagnosed with an infection of his sinus and trachea. Reb Beach had previously missed a number of shows due to poor health as well. Wait, what happened? What's going on?
See, that's the problem when you're in your 70s and 80s. You get sick.
Yep, that would do it. All right, get back here. Get back here.
Because that's a grueling schedule, being out on tour.
Yes.
For a 70 and 80-year-old, I can't imagine myself out on tour at this age.
Yeah. Here it says the first lineup.
But you'd still do it, wouldn't you, Mike?
I would do it as long as, the thing is, it's never been about the money. It's always been about the art. It's always been about the love of music. People ask what my first love is. It's always been music. Ever since I can remember. I mean, when I was 5, I said I was going to be a musician, and I tried many, many times. So just kind of, this is kind of interesting though. This is the Deep Purple one. The White Snake one is the one I was looking at. I was in the wrong one. Bounced me over. Okay, there we are. Okay, White Snake. July 1st, 2022, Whitesnake canceled the remainder of the European tour. On the 5th of August, the band withdrew from their forthcoming tour with the Scorpions. That's the thing. All the bands I loved are now retiring. If they aren't retired, they have died by now. Said Coverdale still needed a few months to recuperate. In 2023, Coverdale expressed interest in continuing the band's farewell tour in the future, but stated his physical health would be the determining factor. Since the cancellation of the farewell tour, Coverdale continued to oversee re-releases of Whitesnake's back catalog, with reissues of Restless Heart, Greatest Hits, Good to Be Bad, the Purple Album, already released 21 to 23. And in 2024, Rhino released a collection of Coverdale's solo albums, Into the Night, under the Whitesnake moniker, with Coverdale retroactively incorporating them into the Whitesnake catalog. So I guess they are definitely gone.
They're gone.
So that's but the thing is, I don't know.
But the last from 78
Yeah.
to 24.
Yeah.
That's quite a career.
That's a long career, and I would imagine he's got money. He's got money, but his band doesn't.
No, his band's going forward, but he's got the money.
Yeah. It's such a shame because,
And this one wasn't drugs. Most of them were drugs and alcohol and ego. This is just ego.
Yes, I agree. I just, the thing is, when I was younger, I could be called an egotist, but and I had no right to be an egotist because I was not that good when I was younger. But I always believed that if you showed that persona, you had to make people believe that you believed it. So, you just had
You
to
had
go.
to be a front man.
Yes. And it's just like acting. If you don't believe my character, you're not going to want to pay to see me. But if you believe the character, you will actually probably pay to see me. So that kind of thing was the reason that I got into the business, was that I wanted to be that star. I wanted to be that rock star. And I never really got to achieve the status that these guys did. But then again, when you think about it, all the bands that went out there and played on those big stages and had nothing to, because they were screwed by their label or screwed by their manager or screwed by whoever. Like Led Zeppelin. If you had Peacock, they have a good Led Zeppelin thing on Peacock that I watched last week. And it really was interesting because they didn't talk about any of the problem between the band members. They talked about the problems they had being Led Zeppelin. And it was a really good special. But I would have liked to have seen what the issues were between the band members, because there were issues. Robert Plant didn't want to play with Jimmy Page. And actually, he hated playing with Page for years, but they had so much success that they just kept going. So that,
Yeah, I'd like to know why.
yeah,
Because they made such a great team.
yes, and that was one of my favorite bands of all times. And I mean, I would say that if anybody that I wanted to imitate, it would be Robert Plant, because I love the stuff he did. But he can't do the stuff live that he did in the studio because you have effects. I can do his stuff live. That's an interesting thing. But I listen to him play live, and if you ever listen to him uh, like the song Rock and Roll, he sang it totally different live. And I could imagine that when you did it in the studio, you're trying to recreate the studio sound live, and a lot of times you can't because the stuff is just you need those effects. But that was a good band. And that I would say there are. If I were to, okay, we did this before a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, I guess it's about a year ago. Your top 5 bands that you like, not record sales, none of that, just top 5 bands. If you only could listen to 5 bands for the rest of your life, who would they be?
They'd be Little Feat, they'd be Leonard Skinner, they'd be Allman Brothers, they'd be Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and they'd be Joe Bonamassa.
Wow, Beatles didn't make the list.
No.
Oh, interesting. Well, for me, it would be Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen. We got 2 more. I might have to go with Skinner too, because that was no. Well, I would have to. I would have to say the last 2 are tough. Black Sabbath maybe with Ozzy, or Ozzy with or Ozzy alone. I don't think but Ozzy. There was a couple songs that stand out with them, and that is what I like. But I can't. I don't think I can't give it to them.
See, when I pick my band, I'm picking it.
Oh, Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd. Can't forget them.
Well, yeah. Sorry. I guess I have to put Floyd in there. I'd have to take Allman Brothers out and put Pink Floyd. I forgot about that.
And maybe. For the last one, I'm on the fence on the last one. I would probably be looking at between Fleetwood Mac maybe Kiss or Aerosmith. Oh man, that's tough. Or oh man, Twisted Sister. Well, I can't put them there. They don't have enough hits, but Aerosmith does. I guess. The last one I'd have a hard time with because that would be a tough one because I'd be tossing between those.
Okay, well let me ask you this: what are your top 5 bands that you want to sing their songs? That you can sing their songs.
That I can. Well, it's always going to be Deep Purple is in that mix. Led Zeppelin, I like to do their songs. I have to choose between which ones because of their different ranges. ZZ Top is fun to sing. If I'm talking about bands that I like to sing their songs, it would be ZZ Top. It would be George Thorogood. It's fun. It would be Deep Purple. Kiss is fun to sing. But if I could sing it, it would be maybe Journey, a little bit of Journey. But I can't hit Steve Perry's stuff. Well, some of them I can, but then I like Bon Jovi stuff too. That one's even tougher because there's a lot more choices of stuff that I sing versus what. Hey, there's Ann. There, yeah. That would be a little tougher because there's a lot of bands I like that are one-hit wonders that I would love to do some of their stuff. Like I wouldn't mind singing some Twisted Sister, but they don't have enough songs that they can be one of my favorite bands. And bands like even the Clash, I would like to do Clash, even though they only have like 3 or 4 songs I like. But I mean, I really like. Judas Priest, I do fairly well, so I don't mind doing their stuff. Def Leppard, I would like to do some Def Leppard. I don't do any Def Leppard right now, but I can't find a band that wants to do it. So, yeah, that's a tougher question. I think I'd better off with the favorite bands.
So what groups do you do now? The majority of your songs?
A lot of Aerosmith, ZZ Top. We're doing Bad Company. We're doing Steppenwolf. We're doing Kiss. We're doing, with the new band, we're doing different things. A lot of the stuff, like we're doing some Rolling Stones in the one band. I'm not a big Stones fan, but I know people love the Stones, so I don't put up a fuss over it.
You haven't mentioned the Beatles yet. You're not doing any Beatles?
I am not doing, well, I may end up doing Beatles. We talked about that. But I'm not a big Beatles fan. I respect them, but they're not one of my top. I want to do more Van Halen. We do one Van Halen in the one band, and I really would like to do more Van Halen because I think that's fun stuff to do. And we're doing one Poison song. It's an okay song. Yeah. We'll see what happens over the next. I mean, the one band I've only been with them one time or 2 times, so we'll see how that moves.
Is this the band you're going to be with when you come back on Wednesday night?
Yeah. The one I'm going to sleep through practice.
You're going to be so zoned out and zombified.
Yeah, I told them don't expect me to be great or anything because that's probably not going to happen. But I'm willing to do it because the thing is, I crave it. There's nothing I crave more than playing. And so if I had a choice between a world tour with a band or a regular TV series, I would take the music. And even if it wasn't a world tour, if it was just a United States tour or just a Pennsylvania tour, I would take that because I love music. That's always my first love.
That's how I feel about preaching. I love it. I crave it.
Yeah.
When the Lord takes it away from me, I'll be very sorry. But yes, I don't see that happening for a while. So I'm very happy. I crave it though. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you love something that much.
Yeah. I will tell you that we used to, the band used to do Man in the Box. I don't know if you know that song or not.
No.
I hate that song. And there's a couple reasons I hate it. First off, it's one of those songs that when you hear it, you can't get rid of it. It's in your head. Second off, one thing it says is deny your maker. I told him I won't do that song. I don't do any songs that have anything with devil worshiping. I don't do any song with things that are religious oriented, anti-religious oriented. I don't want those kind of songs. Those kind of songs, I don't want to be thought of as a devil worshiper or anything like that. And to me, I've already had that for most of my life when I was told I was going to go to hell for singing rock. I just want to play and have a good time and enjoy the aura of playing. And so I won't do any songs that are outwardly.
Well, you'd never hear that from me, right?
Well,
That you're going to go to hell because you play rock and roll.
but if I sang "Man in a Box," I would feel I would have to. I would feel that I was going to hell.
Well, that is a demonic song.
Yeah, and I don't like demonic songs. I like songs, but I don't want to do something that It's like if you're told not to drive through a red light, you try to stay in the. You might accidentally drive through a red light once or twice in your period of time, but you don't do it on purpose because that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to not do that. And I just think that God doesn't have anything against music. But if you're saying things that are outwardly wrong, I can't justify doing that. So some of the things I kind of really don't like to do, like songs that are drinking songs and stuff like that, but I can let that one go. And we don't do anything that's. I mean, what we do. What's the ZZ Top song? Hellraisers and beer drinkers and Hellraisers. We have done that song.
I find that song to be immensely enjoyable.
It's fun to sing, but it depends.
It's fun to be air supply.
It's fun to do when the other guy that's singing with you when you're doing that doesn't come in late, because you got to have those two people singing so that those lines are all together. There's a lot of songs that are fun like that. I like fun songs, and I don't have a problem with them as long as you're not saying worship Satan or God is dead or something like that. I don't. All the songs Ken and I wrote were about life. There's nothing controversial except for Love is Love. There's nothing controversial about what we wrote, and we kept it that way on purpose. Because I told him, I want stories. I want to sing about something. I don't want to sing about party. Yeah. Let's get drunk. I don't. That's not my thing. You know me. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a partier. I don't do drugs. That's not my gig. My gig is to enjoy music and to write music. And I haven't written anything for a while, but it's something I want to get back to. So.
That'll come back, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's time, it's one of those things that I've been so busy. It's. I don't know. I keep myself going, and I enjoy life so much that I don't want to waste it, But yeah. Anyway, all right. What else you got?
Well, I was going to talk about you and that's the thing I was going to talk about, which was the war.
Okay. I got tons of stuff. I mean,
a lot of lawsuits go against him lately.
What's that?
He's not a happy camper.
I'm sorry, who'd you say was not a happy camper?
Trump.
Oh, okay.
Trump's having a lot of lawsuits go against him.
Well, I just saw somebody calling for impeachment again, too.
Yes. AOC.
Oh, that was...
They had 111 Democrats vote against impeachment today.
Oh, against impeachment.
Yes, against it. They sided with Republicans and voted against it.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I could see. Let's see if I have that article that I want to talk about. Because you'd be interested in that article, I think. Find it. See if I have it. I think I have it under the other topic. Hold on. It was about how the Democratic. I hope I have it. Let me see. It would have been just today that I wrote it, or that I saw it. No, that's not it. Not it. I can't believe I didn't write that down. There was an article that was talking about there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. That there's no one that can save the Democratic Party at this point. It's falling
At
apart.
this point, they have no leader.
Right.
They have no one. They have a lot of.
Oh, that's what it was. All right, thank you. Thank you. That's what it was. It was this. Oh, who was it? A big name pulled all his funding from him. Funding. He did $370 or $340 million of supporting something like that. Funding pulled. No, that's not what I said. I didn't say Columbia. I guess I didn't put it in my notes. Here it is.
Bloomberg.
Yeah. I found that I was working on that, and then I got stuck doing this other stuff, and I didn't put it in my notes, and I thought I was going to put it in my notes. This is a really interesting. So it says billionaire Democratic donors Bloomberg, Diller, distance from the ineffectual DNC, say they won't fork over more cash for now. They're so fed up with the fact that the Democrats are so lost, I guess. It says here, refusing to fork over more cash for now to the party's fundraising committee because there's a broad consensus that it's ineffectual. The Democratic National Committee has been plagued with infighting and defections as the party remains virtually leaderless since President Trump's victory over Kamala. And then it also said that they were upset about Joe. I have no intention, says here, for a variety of reasons, I have no intentions of donating to the DNC, says Diller. And then they mentioned that they felt that they were screwed over by Joe Biden because Joe Biden went and promised to restore the soul of the nation and did just the opposite. So I found it was interesting. It says here, Diller, chairman of such holdings as the Internet and Media behemoth IAC, in his just-released memoir, Who Knew, that President Joe Biden and his administration used bait-and-switch tactic when it came to his promise to restoring the soul of the nation. I think it's
was divisive instead of united.
Yeah, I found that interesting. I really.
He ran on being a unity president.
Yes.
It was very divisive.
Yes. And so apparently, it said Bloomberg gave $413,000 to the DNC. Diller donated $330,000, and Marcy contributed $133,000, and hinted that he would give again to the DNC, but didn't specify when. So that's.
See, here's the problem. There are certain Democrats that I listen to very closely. They all agree that what the Democratic Party is today is against Trump.
Yes.
Whatever Trump does, they're against.
Yes.
Instead of saying what they're for, they're saying what they're against. I think that is the reason these guys aren't giving them money. Because against Trump isn't winning them anything.
Right.
And Fetterman, your guy Fetterman, came out and agreed with Trump 2 or 3 times, and he is being backlashed by the Democratic Party. Because Fetterman agreed with what Trump did initially. Fetterman agreed with what Trump is doing with the criminal aliens. And Fetterman, he did a first degree agreed with Trump. And Fetterman seems to be a guy of common sense.
Yeah.
But he's behaving in the Democratic Party.
Well, I think this is a pretty big deal. I mean, we're not even a year into Trump and their parties and the Democratic parties in shambles. I mean,
they're disarray. It's just again, and they doubled down on the woke stuff.
Yeah.
And the woke stuff is what killed them.
Yeah.
And they doubled down on it. And the American people aren't listening to them. I mean, their latest poll numbers were down around 30% approval rate
Wow.
or less. It's the lowest they've ever been
Yeah.
as a party in the country. And the leadership is AOC, it is some others that are anti-Trump, and they scream wokeness and they scream anti-Trump.
Right.
That's not what they need. They need somebody who's going to start talking to the middle class.
Right.
Because they've lost the middle class. They've got to get the middle class back. And if they got a good spokesperson who talked common sense, I think they'd win the middle class back. Because I don't think the middle class is in love with Trump.
No. I have to agree with you on that.
Only the mega pigs is in love with Donald Trump. The rest of us that voted for Trump because he was a businessman and they couldn't stand Harris.
Right. Right. And that's, I mean, I couldn't have voted for Harris because I didn't see anything there. I didn't see, she couldn't hold a conversation. They had a person that could speak and sound intelligent. I would have probably looked at the Democrats. Trump, I've got mixed feelings about him, especially after he went against the trans community as hard as he did, against the abortion as hard as he did. Those kind of things, I think, are more of a personal thing than they should be. I don't know why he felt that he had to attack that group of people.
It's one thing to stand the men out of women's sports. It's
Yes.
another thing to attack trans.
Yes. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with keeping trans people out of sports because they got to have their own sports league or something. You can't.
Disabled people have their own Olympics.
Yes.
Trans people have their own races.
Exactly, and it should be that way. If we're going to allow trans people to participate, they should be in their own league of sports, and I don't see a problem with that. But I just think
See, that played to his mega base.
yeah, yep,
And so Trump has to keep his mega base happy,
yep. At least for another couple of years.
at least for another couple of years, because they got the midterms coming up, and they got to make sure that they hold the Senate and the House. And so you're going to see a lot of politics coming out of the White House.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you one thing: Trump is winning over the unions.
Okay.
And that's traditionally not the leadership of the unions,
Right.
but the rank and file of the unions are going more Trump than they're going Democrats this time. That's fine.
Hmm.
Because Trump's promising for great manufacturing jobs coming back to the United States. And that's what unions need. They need more factory jobs.
Hmm.
To bring more people into the union because more jobs are available and they want higher wages. When you manufacture overseas, you're getting very low wages.
Right.
So your product is cheaper.
Right.
And the profit margin is great. Trump's trying to bring those companies, all those stuff back to the United States. And the profit margin will not be as great.
Right.
And so businesses are fighting it, but Trump, that's what tariffs are all about.
Right.
He's trying to make it costly to manufacture your goods overseas and ship them back to the United States.
Right.
Because he's trying to get them to move their factories back here. And unions like that. And if he's successful doing that, he's going to keep the union workers. And the union workers is the backbone of the middle class.
Okay. Makes sense.
So Trump, if he can successfully bring back manufacturing, the Democrats will not have a chance.
That's crazy to think about.
If he doesn't, the middle class is wide open.
Yeah.
To a common sense Democrat, right?
Yep.
They got to find a common sense Democrat to lead the party because he could win or she could win.
Right.
And that's not Harris because Harris is way left wing and she can't speak totally.
Right. I want to hear somebody who can speak. I mean, it's kind of like in pro wrestling. If you can't speak, you have a manager. Well, you have a manager to speak for you, and you can't do that with the president. You can't have the president's here, but I'm going to speak for him. You can't do that, and that's what it would have been with Harris, because Harris can't speak, and I don't have a problem with either party as long as they do the job, as long as they do what they got to do, and she just didn't say anything that was that she spoke in circles and kept talking about her family. Who cares? We don't care where your fictitious family came from, because it wasn't real anyway. And you got to believe somebody's authentic in something, and she just didn't do it. I'm not anti-democratic, or Democrat, but I'm not 100% pro Republican either. So there's got to be some middle ground in there, and we're never going to have, at the rate that we're going, we're never going to have an independent win. So we're stuck with one or the other.
Well, a common sense Democrat has a very good chance of ousting Vance in 2028.
Yeah.
So they got to find one. One has to emerge.
Right.
If they don't, they have no shot.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the fun. The fun thing is finding that person. They got to start the applications.
What these guys that I follow are saying, there's a couple common sense governors out there that haven't declared yet. They haven't gone into the spotlight yet. But there's a couple of good governors. The governor of Kentucky, Beshear, he's a Democrat, but he wins in conservative Kentucky because he speaks Kentuckians' language.
Okay.
He might be someone that could be a common sense Democrat because he's won in a Republican state, which means he might be able to win in a conservative country.
Okay. Makes sense.
And there's a couple other governors like that out there, so they're thinking maybe they are the answer. But they don't want to step out yet because they just won the governorship and they need to spend 2 years being governor before they start doing political aspirations of the president.
Yeah, credibility.
It's tough. Politics is a tough profession.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and we're not attracting the best and brightest.
Right.
The best and the brightest are doing other things.
What's that?
The best and the brightest are doing other things.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's so cutthroat, it's so nasty, it's so backstabbing.
Right.
To be in politics right now. That's one of the reasons Trump won, because he took the heat. He took 2 assassination attempts. He took all the lawfare that happened. He took all the grave and the name calling, and he took it. And that's one of the things that people admired about him, because it didn't stop him. He didn't change. He took it. He's tough, and people wanted tough this time.
Yeah.
I doubt they'll want tough next time, but they want tough this time.
I think if they had a Trump that was, I don't want to say a Trump, but someone that had the correct direction and a little less edgy, they would have had a chance. I think the thing is, he's over the top so much. That's how he would have blown everything like he did the last time. Last time he was in, he lost that, but he lost it because he was so over the top. And
Think about this, Mike. Look how weak Biden was.
Yes.
The country was ready for a Trump.
Right.
And they put up with his mouth. I have a real hard time with his mouth.
Yes.
Not so much his policies sometimes, in some areas.
Right.
But his mouth really irritates
me. Me too.
He doesn't have to say things he says. He could be just as effective calming his mouth down. But his mega base wants it.
Right.
His mega base wants him to say the things that he says.
Yep.
And I'm not a mega person because I don't like that mouth of his. The things that he calls, the names that he calls people is belittling.
Right.
He's the president. He needs to act like the president.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
So I think a common sense Democrat that's more middle of the road beat Vance in 2028. Now I'm assuming Vance is going to get it. That may not be true, but right now he's the front runner for 2028.
What do you think of him?
I think he's Trump light.
Okay.
I like Rubio better. Rubio's Hispanic, and that would draw more Hispanics into the Republican Party. So, but Rubio's not as well known as Vance right now. Vance is very well known.
The image I have of Rubio is the stuff he was doing against Disney and all that. And I had an issue with him picking on a corporation like that.
Well, Disney did some stuff that they shouldn't have done, but that's who they are.
Yeah.
They're very woke organization, and they have the right to be who they are.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
If I was the head of Disney, I wouldn't want a politician telling me how to run my company.
Right. Yep. Same here.
Even though I'm personally against some of the positions they took.
Right.
Some. DeSantis punished them for being woke. They were punished.
Yeah.
By DeSantis in Florida. I don't think a politician has the right to punish a corporation for doing what they want to do.
Especially
even if I disagree with this, they have the right to be themselves.
Especially as much income as they make for the taxes and stuff like that for Florida.
Oh, they pay a tremendous amount of taxes.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying, I don't want punishment. I want people to solve problems.
Yes.
And neither one of these parties seem to be able to solve any problems.
Yeah.
And so I'm at a loss of what to do because I'm an independent, and I'm looking for one of them to start solving problems, and then I'll join them.
Right.
But either one seems capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Right now, today.
Right.
And the Republicans have a chance until the next election.
Right.
And they're screwing around right now.
I think they're both not doing their job. I think the problem is the disorganization of the Democrats. I just
and the infighting of the Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't get their act together.
It's got to be a common ground.
Somewhere. I wish I knew where it was coming from. That's why I'm looking at Fetterman, because Fetterman speaks his mind. Whatever, I don't agree with everything he believes, but he doesn't have a problem siding with Trump and the Republicans when Trump and the Republicans are right. He doesn't have a problem agreeing with that. And I like that because that means he's an independent thinker.
Yes.
And I am attracted to independent thinkers. I am not attracted to people that just spout the company line. Every day, the DNC and the RNC, you know what they are, right? The
Yeah.
Republican National Committee
Right.
and Democrat National Committee. They put out talking points every morning. And then people just spout those talking points all day long.
Mm.
Fetterman doesn't do that. Fetterman is an independent thinker. He speaks his own mind. So I like him. Now, whether he'll ever run for president or if he'll make a good president, I have no idea. But I just like independent thinking. You can't find too many independent thinkers today.
Right.
Trump's one. Trump's an independent thinker. Fetterman's an independent thinker. Other than that, I can't find one in the Democratic Party.
That's crazy. You think that somebody could step up and,
We've got time.
you know,
There's time.
well,
I think it's going to be one of these governors. That's what I think.
yeah.
But, you know, like, I'm off my soapbox now, but I really worry because we have a lot of problems in this country and we're not solving them.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Well, I got something.
Okay, let's get on to something other than politics.
I got something for you.
Okay.
This one is specifically towards you. Stem cell treatment effectively cures severe type 1 diabetes in a small clinical trial of 10 to 12 patients no longer need insulin a year after an infusion of this Zimislecel. Do you have
Boy, that
diabetes?
was wonderful news because I'm not diabetic. I was one that keeps
Yeah.
insulin.
I saw that and
Wonderful thing.
I thought of you when I saw this article. I thought, well, if that can be done, there's so many people out there that can actually cure them, be cured. I can't pronounce it. Zimislecel enables insulin independence in 10 participants in type 1 diabetes. I have a lot of friends that have to worry about diabetes. I am so thankful that I don't have that issue because, you know, I was horribly overweight for a long time, and I'm surprised that I was never in that category. But wow, this is interesting. I'd like to see, you know, that happen. Who knows? We're seeing 10 of 12 patients no longer need the insulin after a single infusion of this stuff. So we may see that in the future. May see a big change in the future. Then I saw this. This one is odd. Bride shot dead. Groom wedding reception.
I
What?
didn't hear about this.
Oh, this is horrible. Apparently, the husband was a piece of garbage. He's connected to the wrong people. And says here, a bride is dead after a masked man opened fire as she was leaving the wedding reception. Now, this is in France, so you probably wouldn't have heard it. In early hours, June 22nd, one of the shooters also died at the attack, while the groom, a child, and the groom's sister suffered injuries. The local officials are investigating the shooting, but it says here her new husband. Wait a minute, where's it at? I saw something. Both the bride and the shooter died at the scene. Where was it? There was something that said the identities of the bride and groom had not been released yet, but the bride was 27 years old, and the newspaper said that the bride was unknown to the police. The groom had a long history of criminal offenses, so I think they were after
She knows
him.
who she was marrying.
What's that?
I wonder if she knew who she was marrying.
I don't know. He apparently is a little,
Shady.
yeah. So I felt bad for the poor bride. And then for this little kid, I feel bad for him. Toddler dies after a piece of garbage dad allegedly left him in a hot truck to drink and get a haircut. The words can't explain how I feel about this. I mean, I'm not that I have kids or anything, but how many years does it take, or how long does it take for people to understand that you can't leave your kid in the car? I mean, just because my parents left me in the car in the middle of summer with our windows open.
I can't tell you how many times I was left in the car with the windows open for my Uncle Charlie to go drink in a bar.
Well, for me, it was just the parents had to go in the store to get something. But, but I can't even imagine, and there was no news stories back then of kids dying in their car. But now we have this on a regular basis. And it was 111 degrees that day in Florida. He's a piece of crap. He should be put in a car and left in a nice warm car for him, so he sees how the kid died, and hopefully he dies too for that. But I just can't understand how today we hear over and over again of kids that die in cars because their parents are idiots. And at least this guy didn't say, well, I forgot the kid was there. Those are the people that really irritate me. Because how could you forget your kid was in the car?
In my car, when you turn it off, there's a sign that comes on that says, check your back seat.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good thing. See, but you shouldn't even need that, because you should know. You should know if there's a kid back there or not. Even if the kid's sleeping, you know where you came from. If you don't know where you came from, then you must be impaired in one way or another. And in that case, you shouldn't have the kid anyway.
Or a dog. I mean, dogs are bad because they've been left in cars.
Right. And that's even worse than the kid dying. Here's one that's going to piss you off even more.
Good, I'm in the right mood for it. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to like this one. Man 22 arrested after allegedly attempting to marry a 9-year-old girl at Disneyland Paris in a fake ceremony. What is going on with this world?
Who is attracted to a 9-year-old girl?
Apparently this 22-year-old. I had a girlfriend who had a kid, had 2 kids. When we first met, the kids were 6 and 9. And later in life, after we broke up, I had a chance to date someone who was 25 and I was 40. And I kept thinking, well, wouldn't that girl be about the same age as the 9-year-old if I had done that? It's like, oh.
My story is when I went to Patty's house, she's 9 years younger than me, 9.5 years younger than me. And so when I went to Patty's house and saw her in the 3rd grade, I wanted to go to Gary Township and turn myself in. Because I would have been a senior in high school.
Oh, man. But, I mean...
But it's like a 9-year-old girl, what is attractive? I mean, they're pretty. I get they're pretty. But what is attractive about a 9-year-old girl?
I can't even...
22-year-old man.
I just couldn't even imagine, even if I was 18, even if I was 16, 9-year-old.
9-year-old girl?
I hope that guy gets put away for a while, for a long while.
I hope so too.
So that when he's 70, he can go out with that 9-year-old girl who is now in her 50s or late 50s. So I just, to me, that doesn't make sense. I just can't. I can't imagine.
Well, he's a pedophilia.
Yeah.
He needs to be put out off the streets and castrated.
says a 22-year-old British man was arrested for allegedly planning a fake wedding to a 9-year-old girl at Disney Paris. Authorities were alerted that something was wrong when the park employees noticed that the bride at a pre-scheduled wedding appeared to be alarmingly young. The British man allegedly told authorities that the wedding was fake and intended to be filmed for a social media thing. Jeez. I
Well,
don't.
you're probably going to get a wrong sentence, but there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Why would you even do that for social media?
I would be willing to bet that he was lying.
The whole thing's false. The whole thing's false.
Yeah. I just don't get it. I just don't. I don't understand what the attraction is. And then,
There is one.
Man opens fire in a Michigan church.
Yes, I heard this.
And the deacon runs over. The deacon runs over him with a truck to stop the attack. That man is a hero. What's the deal with shooting at churches? What I don't.
He's probably an atheist, or he has something against what happened at that church. I have not heard the reason why. But there are anti-religious people that are troops. They're out there.
Jeez. I can't even understand. It said he didn't appear to be a member of the congregation. So the person just, how many times have we read that, not recently, fortunately, but for a couple of years, there were people going into churches. And, and it wasn't a consistent. Yeah, it wasn't a particular church. It was, one was a black church, one was a Ukraine church or something like that. And, it wasn't a consistent thing, but it was just, let people pray and do what they've got to do. I mean, there's no reason to make them meet their maker quicker than, I don't get it. Let's see here. Here's a good one. There is a thing. You ever heard of the brain bubble bath?
No.
Okay, this is something you would be interested in. The brain bubble bath talks about how 10 minutes of walking can flood your brain with feel-good chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, activating regions that boost mood, sharpen focus, and strengthen memory. So that's the big thing now, is the brain bubble bath. So just walking 10 minutes could reset your brain. I don't know if that's true or
I
not.
wonder if bicycling has the same effect, because I can't walk, but I can bike.
I would think that would be the same, because you're still.
I get runners high after I bike.
Well, then I would imagine that does the same thing. That was just a study that was out there. Then I saw that America's millionaire population grew by 379,000 people last year to 23.8 million people.
Wow.
Now but you say wow, but think about this now. When we were kids, thousandaires were big. With people that had $100,000 were rich. People that had 200,000, $500,000 were rich. And now, if you adjust that for inflation, a lot of people are millionaires.
Well, and it's 401ks too.
Yes.
You need almost over $1 million to live comfortably in time.
Yes. I would. Well, they tell you to retire, you need to have $500,000.
Yes.
So that's one nice thing, is that $500,000 doesn't sound that bad as it did when we were kids. when we were kids, if you had $500,000, you were set for life. But I can tell you that my stock account that I have, I'm living off the interest of that. So I have about the same amount of money as when I retired in 2018, give or take. Now,
So I may get 2 inheritance, which will make Patty not have to work, and we can live off the interest.
yes.
And now I won't live rich,
No, I'm not living rich
but
either.
I'll be able to buy 2 brand new cars,
Yeah,
pay for those, and build a house and pay for it.
right. I mean, I don't feel like I live rich. I have,
See, the only thing luxury you have is your car.
yeah, and I love my car. And it's not my car. I'm going to lose the car in a couple months. So, we bought, I bought a second
Yes,
Tesla.
you bought a Tesla.
That Tesla is beautiful, and I got it for a great deal. But when I gave that to Christine now, because it was a deal I couldn't pass up. That deal was really good. I took money out of my account, out of my retirement, just to buy that car, because that's a great deal. I had money to buy my new car, but that's from stock I bought in 2018. And I almost lost that. I guess I probably talked about that before.
Oh, yes.
That was scary. I have $90,000 in stock right now. That is mine. That I can. Well, it'll change from week to week, but I mean, that's my brand new car money. That's what I'm going to spend my stock on. And so I don't know.
Tesla stock, right? Tesla stock.
Tesla stock, yeah. Because it split a bunch of times while I had it. Not a bunch of times, a couple times. So now it's worth a whole lot more than what I paid for it. So at some point, I'm going to, cash that in. But, it may not be this time because they're upgrading my car, but they didn't really do a whole lot in the upgrade. I want more mileage. My big deal is I want mileage. So if they can give me a car that gets better mileage, I'll buy it. But if they're not going to give me the refresh they did really wasn't very good. The Model S gets more mileage. That gets around 450 miles, I think, for the charge, which would make me want to buy one of those, but I don't want that. I want my X. I like my X. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I may change my mind, but, it's hard to say. That car that we bought, though, it's got just about everything I want, except it doesn't have a newer computer, and it also does the same mileage that I got now. So I want more mileage because I'm driving.
Christine, she drives back and forth to Bragg.
Yes,
Does she do that on one charge?
yes, she loves that car, and I wasn't sure if she'd like it or not. I asked her. I said, "If I bought this car, would you drive it?" And she said yes, because I didn't think she would. I thought she would really be intimidated to drive it because it's a beautiful car, but it's bigger than she's used to. Because she's driving a Prius most of the time, and so I didn't know if she would take and buy that because she never would drive my car. So I figured if she wouldn't drive my car, she wouldn't buy that because it's the same car. It's the same size, and I kind of figured that she was intimidated too much to buy it, to drive it. So I don't know. She likes it. She's enjoying it. So I think it was a good buy. And there's going to be, I'll probably have a chance to buy a used one of what I have right now for a fraction of the price and still have all the features that I had before. I just don't want to give up my car because I like my car. And, you grow attached to those things. So, it won't be the same as buying another red car that has the exact same features because, that was my car.
I understand.
But I may end up just waiting, and I think at the end of the year there's going to be some really good deals because he did that to me last time. I bought my car, and then the next 3 months, he had these killer deals. I may just wait, because if he has a deal where I can buy something with supercharging for life, or free FSD for life, I may jump on that. So I don't want to make a that's one of the reasons I bought this car, because this one has full self-driving, and I want that in my car. I love that part, and so if I can get that and free charging for life, he may do that this year because he had a bad year because of his involvement in the politics. He may just do that. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to wait for the right deal. And even if I can't get the mileage I want to get, I'll get a used one, and that'll give me a used one with, the self-driving or with the charging and all that stuff. As long as I can get something out of it. Knowing him, you remember when we were kids? What was a crazy somebody had all those deals that were crazy? They weren't car deals, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's what I think Elon is. I'm crazy. I'm going to give you everything you want, plus, whatever. But yeah, that's what I want to. That's kind of what I want to see what he does. I want to see if he makes another deal like that, because there was no reason to do that when I had my car when I bought this car. So this time he's got a reason to, because he had horrible numbers last quarter. So he's had some pretty crazy stuff that he's done.
Plus his resale value. People don't want Teslas right now.
Yeah, and with the hate. The hate's real. I can tell you it's real. There's people that pee on your cars. But it's better than doing something else to my car, scratching.
I'll take someone peeing on the car than keying.
Yeah, because there's lots of people that key stupid cars. I don't understand what.
A car wash takes care of the pee.
Yes, or a nice downpour.
A nice downpour.
So, all right, what's next? That was a millionaire one. Okay. You might find this interesting. Studies suggest that life. Studies suggest that snowball Earth, a period around 700 million years ago, when the planet was covered in ice by living in shallow pools near freezing water. Early life may have lived in ponds. I don't know. I don't know if I buy that or not.
I don't know. They come up with theories all the time. I can't follow them all.
Well, I mean, I can't believe that the whole Earth was froze over unless the sun wasn't doing its job. That would mean it was dark and there was no sun. And so I do have a problem with that. It says a report that 635 million to 720 million years ago, during the periods known as snowball Earth, when much of the planet was covered in ice, some of our ancient cellular ancestors could have waited things out in meltwater ponds. Scientists found that Eukaryotes, complex cellular life forms that eventually evolved into the diverse multicellular life that we see today, could have survived the global freeze by living in shallow pools of water. So,
we've had seasons for a long time. The equator is always hot. It's hard for me to believe there was a freeze over.
This year has been the weirdest year for weather that I can remember seeing, where it's cold at night, really, really cold at night, and really, really hot during the day. That, to me, is really says that there's something wrong. So, I don't know. I don't know if I buy this myself, because it just seems really strange to think that, yeah, like you said, that the temperatures and all that, because for us to have that, we would have to not have a sun. So, or we
The
have,
sun would have to be less powerful than it is, and that's not true.
yeah. So I saw it and I thought, you know, I'll talk
Yeah,
about this.
I'll chalk this one up to I'm not sure.
Mythbusters. It's not plausible in your eyes.
Not plausible.
Okay. Let's see. This one. The Bling Bandits are busted. 7 California men have been charged in what federal prosecutors say is the largest jewelry heist in history. They allegedly stole $100 million worth of gold, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and watches from an armored truck on July 2022. The men aged 31 to 60 followed the Brinks semi-truck over 300 miles from a trade show to a rest stop north of Los Angeles. Just after 2 a.m., one guard was getting food and another was asleep. They nabbed 24 of the 73 bags of jewelry in the truck. The historic escapade took under 27 minutes, and cellular records and surveillance footage were critical to identifying the suspects, several of whom were also linked to a string of smaller robberies. Authorities recovered some jewelry and some jewelry. Where was I? Yeah. Well, here we go. Oh wait, that's amazing items stolen. Oh yeah, this is some of the stuff that was stolen at that big heist. Says here, authorities recovered some jewelry and arrested 2 men Monday. Another suspect is serving time for unrelated charges, and 4 remain at large. The charges announced Tuesday can carry sentences of 5 to 20 years in prison. The guy that's in jail already, you have to think, you got away with this one. What did you do to get yourself in trouble to get thrown into jail already? Seems kind of... Yeah. Well, I think the problem is that people don't know when to quit. And
well, they blow on their money, like the bands that we talk about.
Yes.
They're making millions and they blow all their money on code.
Right.
So this guy probably blew all his money he got in ice.
Here's a funny one. Elderly man locked up after claiming to be FBI to dodge traffic tickets. You can't arrest me. I'm part of FBI.
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I got web pages for everything that I do. I think it's a Long Island man locked up, and it says here, a 32-year-old Long Island man tried to get out of an upstate traffic ticket by claiming he's a retired FBI agent. And, oh, I'm sorry, not 34. 84-year-old man. Well, that's different. And instead ended up behind bars. Earl Grumall of Nassau County, I can't see. There it is. Stop it. Was pulled over at Columbia Turnpike in Rensselaer County before 10 a.m. on May 22nd on a traffic violation. I'm not going to use that. I would never say I was an FBI agent.
It's impersonating a federal agent.
That's right. It's not clear what violation was involved, but the statement said during the stop, Grumall displayed a law enforcement badge. Ooh. That was wrong, and advised the trooper he was a retired FBI agent. Or maybe he was one like Tom Cruise that's highly hidden. They don't let you know about it. The investigation said that he was never employed by the FBI and was never certified as a law enforcement agent. Oops. And let's see here. So he went to jail without bail. That 84-year-old, you got to give him as much time outside the jail as possible because, this guy's, oh man, these people.
He might just die in jail.
Yeah. It says here in March, a 46-year-old Queens man was also charged with impersonating a federal immigrator agent.
Immigration agent.
Yeah, but it says, oh yeah, it does say, see, I got lines in my screen. You don't see the lines because you don't have to look at I got to get a new monitor. Let's see, immigration agent, fleece a woman, agent to fleece a woman seeking a green card out of $500,000. Oh, okay, in impersonating a federal immigration agent to fleece a woman out of seeking a green card out of $500,000. And then in January 2024, a 46-year-old man claiming he was an NYPD detective and flashing a phony badge confronted fare beaters at Lower Manhattan Station and even pepper sprayed them before he was busted by the real cops. Some people.
So he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
By impersonating a New York State police officer.
Oh, man.
Well, he's sitting in jail for a long time, too.
Yep, that's true. Outspoken police officer, female police officer, no, outspoken female New York City teacher, union rep targeted by disgusting cards in urinal. So this is so juvenile. I can't imagine people doing this, but I guess it happens. So this outspoken female New York City teacher union rep, she's disgusted by the fact that they put, was it a picture of her? Let me see here. Here it is. A city teachers union rep who lost a hard-fought race for president says she's now being harassed by her foes, who put her image on laminated cards in union urinals with the message, "Take a leak on my face." The disgusting cards were discovered strategically placed in the urinals of the men's room at the United Federation of Teachers headquarters at 52nd Broadway in Manhattan during a delegate assembly meeting of 400 teachers and other educators last week. Shows a degree of hatred for someone. Oh, man. Guys are sick.
They are. We are.
Well, some of us wouldn't do something like that. That's just, I have some kind of, I don't know. I didn't talk about this last week because we ran out of time, but there's a footage of a knife-wielding maniac lunging at officers inside a courthouse. And you may have already heard of this, but it's really weird. How do you get well, I guess they have metal detectors at courthouses, right?
They have metal detectors and strip searches if they find something. So I don't know how he got a knife.
And in New York City, of all places, I would think that would be one of the more difficult places. It says shocking footage of a knife-wielding maniac lunging at officers inside a Manhattan courthouse Monday, slashing 2 in the neck and face. The crazed suspect, identified as Jonathan Worrell, 37, of Queens, is seen calmly approaching the metal detectors. Oh, okay, so that's where it happened. In Manhattan criminal court. Then suddenly pounces on a court officer. The maniac turns and brutally attacks a second officer, stabbing him repeatedly before he gets tackled into a barrier near the entrance. And, once again, it seems like the innocent people, like the guy who's just trying to make a living, is attacked here. Whoever the guy was meaning to target must have tried to get through the metal detector. crazy stuff.
People.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand.
What in the world did a cop ever do to him?
Yeah, I don't know.
He wants to indiscriminately kill another cop.
Right, yeah. I don't know. It's just really strange that there's so many people out there that have a hatred for, I don't know. This is another. There seem to be a lot of shootings lately. Gun-toting carjacker killed by police following a deadly multi-state crime spree. You know, I don't get it. There were a lot of gun things related in the news. I don't understand. It says here the gun-toting maniac who went on a chaotic multi-state carjacking spree, killing one Good Samaritan and wounding a motorcyclist, was killed Sunday during a police shootout. The unidentified suspect launched a rampage around 8:30 a.m. Sunday. And I see you guys wonder why I use ad blockers, but I can't read my article. Where was I? A rampage around 8:30 Sunday outside a Spokane Valley coffee shop where he allegedly carjacked a man and his daughter at gunpoint and drove down I-90 towards Idaho in a stolen car. Within minutes, the cops located the carjacker speeding down the interstate at up to 140 miles an hour. See, now that's the thing. If I was stealing a car, last thing I would want to do is have people notice that I'm going 140 miles an hour. They're going to find you pretty quickly when you're doing that.
I think so.
Oh, boy. Well, the lunatic allegedly plowed into a motorcyclist doing donuts in the vehicle. The motorcyclist was injured but expected to be okay. You know, that'd be like going into a store and walking out while you're holding the package in your hand. Here, come and get me. Jeez. These people. Let's see. Okay, that's the same story there. Just had it here twice. It says Hellraiser storms altar at Long Island Catholic Church topples 110-year-old statue in Sunday Mass tantrum. Come on, I gave you more time. Why do you have 3 of them? I didn't do that 3 times. Huh. Must have opened that up a couple times. Okay. Let's see here. Come on. Says Aldo. Guy's name is Aldo. Okay. An irate Hellraiser stormed the altar at. Oh, stop with these ads already. Just go away. I'm going to put my ad blocker back on, and you're going to be mad because I have an ad blocker. An irate Hellraiser stormed the altar at Long Island Church during Sunday Mass, toppling sacred century-old relics, causing more than $10,000 worth of damages. See, if you don't want to go to a church, that's fine.
Don't have to destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, let people do what they got to do. I mean, this guy's 26, and he burst into the Corpus Christi Church just after 5 during a Spanish language I don't know what UHCH,
Eucharist.
Eucharist celebration, and shattered two
You know what a
religious.
Eucharist is?
No.
Okay, that's where they have communion.
Oh, okay.
The Catholic Church calls it the Eucharist.
Okay. And shattered two religious statues, including a Sacred Heart statue that was 100 years old. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Just stay away from the churches. You know, there's no reason to cause. You know, it's like if you like disco music and I don't like disco music, I'm not going to go into your discotheque and destroy it because it's disco. You know, I just don't understand why people have to take their beliefs or disbeliefs and try to destroy other people's happiness.
Because they're sick.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Then there's a New York City monster, or mom, same thing, who beat their 7-year-old daughter to death, throws a tantrum, and avoids sentencing. How could you? I don't understand how they could do that. I don't understand how they could beat their daughter. Yeah, it's New York City.
Because the prosecuting attorney doesn't want to put anybody in jail.
But
I would bet you any dollar it's a black woman.
Says the Monster Bronx mom who beat her 7-year-old daughter to death threw a tantrum in court Monday, refusing to listen to the tragic girl's grieving dad and grandmother. It's the second time, and I would bet you were correct by her name. Navasia Jones had an outburst that derailed her sentencing to an agreed to 15 years in prison for little Julicia Battles' brutal 2021 death. I don't wish to hear what they say, Jones, 35, screamed at Julius Battles, her ex-partners and girl's heartbroken dad. What you say to me doesn't matter. What you say doesn't matter to me. Last month, Jones wouldn't even talk in the courtroom to face the music when the Bronx prosecutors first tried to complete the sentencing part of her deal. I think you just put a gag on her and put her in place and say, okay, now listen, here she is. You got it. You guessed it. See, someone like that.
Judges in New York City don't believe that minorities don't care if they're black or Asian. That minorities don't deserve jail time.
No, I think she don't deserve jail time either. I think she deserves to die. The way she killed her kid, she should die. She should be beat to death. I never could understand that. Why, you know? That poor girl, even if that girl is the worst girl in the world, you don't beat him. Jeez. And this is, I'm going to look for other than these really depressing ones. Let me find a different one. Wait, I can go back to the entertainment. Let's go back to entertainment. That's a lot of people dying. Oh, here we go. I got some other things. Henry Winkler jokes that he nearly killed someone riding a motorcycle on the set of Happy Days. You know, it's funny because we all watched Henry Winkler and we all believed he was that person that. But did you ever watch? Henry Winkler was in a movie called he was a wrestler in a movie, a professional wrestler. The one and only. The One and Only. He was in a movie called The One and Only, where he was a pro wrestler. I gotta dig that movie out again. That was a funny movie. Anyway, it was funny watching him in that movie because he played a different character. He played this wimpy guy and turning into a professional wrestler. And so when you see him in the Happy Days, you think he's that tough guy. In the beginning, he was a tough guy, but then as the years went on, he became really kind of mellow for a guy wearing a leather jacket. But it says here, Henry Winkler has done some risky stunts throughout his time as an actor. The Happy Days alumni says that people says about a time on the set, and others he had scary moments, and why he isn't as thrill-seeking as some of his characters. Hazardous History with Henry Winkler premieres Sunday, this past Sunday, or no, 2 Sundays ago, on the History Channel. It says Winkler says the most dangerous thing he's had to do as a role was ride a motorcycle. And I'll tell you what, I rode a motorcycle a couple times, and it was only a couple times because I learned that I didn't, after my friend Bowski wrecked his motorcycle, it cured me of wanting to ride a motorcycle because he was messed up and his motorcycle was totaled. And that was when we were still.
I've owned a couple motorcycles. I used to love it. I would never ride one.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Too many people in Cincinnati died.
Yeah, I need something to protect me. He says I was dyslexic. I couldn't figure out what was the gas and what was the gear, what was broken. I nearly killed the head of cinematography on Happy Days. That wasn't his only brush with danger on the set. He had a scary experience when filming the 1997 film Heroes. In the movie Heroes, I raced the car around the track. I was surrounded by these wonderful stuntmen. I stepped on the brake too hard and spun out, and they all had to miss me. I wasn't in the script. It wasn't in the script. I did it by mistake, and they all screeched to a halt and ran over and said, "Did you understand that you could have been killed?" That was an accident. It was so scary to hear the feedback because I didn't realize the ramifications of that spin out could have been. And when it comes to his own life, I'm not a thrill seeker. He admits he has an appreciation for life's riskier things, which led him to the new History Channel series. I might have to watch that series because it looks like it could be interesting. Oh, man. Then we got Roseanne Barr is in the news. When was the last time you heard that name?
Well, today, because there was this rumor about the singer at the 7th game of the NBA playoffs. And she evidently sang the national anthem.
Yes.
Not to some people's liking.
Yes.
And so they brought up Roseanne Barr because she was the worst Star-Spangled Banner singer of all time.
I remember that. I remember all the fuss over that. She did it as a joke, and nobody got the joke. But anyway, she looks really good.
Some people don't appreciate her.
She looks really good, though, in this picture. So Roseanne claims that she was asked to guest star in The Conners as a ghost. Now, obviously, The Conners was the show that, it was the Roseanne Show, Part 2, that she got kicked off of because she said something about Obama's one person and called her an ape. And I guess the woman was actually a light-skinned black person, and they took it as it was a racial thing. And she said she didn't know she was of color. And so it says, "You're asking me to come back to the show that you effing stole from me," she recalled in the creation. I gotta agree with her. I wouldn't have done it either. Roseanne claimed that her new documentary, Roseanne is America, that she was asked to guest star in the Conners show after ABC canceled the revival. They called me and asked me if I would come back as a guest star. The revival was canceled after Barr sent a tweet likening former presidential advisor Valerie Jarrett to an ape in 2018. Roseanne was revealing why she turned down the offer. The actress and comedian 72 claimed in the new documentary Roseanne is America, that she asked, well, I said that already, and they called me and asked me if I would come back as a guest star. You're coming back as a ghost. They did an interesting thing. Do you watch it? You probably don't watch that show, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, what they did with her in the last season was that they had Dan tried to get him to sue the drug company because they killed her off with pills, and they were trying to get Dan to sue the company that made the pills so that he could actually live his life in a better situation because he was retired and still working because he didn't have enough money to live on, which is I can understand that, but and I actually was involved in the Purdue lawsuit that because Pam had some of their drugs that led to her downfall, and they actually supposedly settled that lawsuit that I am in. I probably won't see any money, but they got I forget what the number was, but there was a 300 and I want to say 300 and some odd $billion or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to give me any money. I did it because I wanted them to understand that there are people that were affected by that drug, place. They kept giving her fentanyl, and she was in charge of her own fentanyl. She had fentanyl patches and stuff. They should not have made it that easy to get. They were stuffing pills down her like crazy, and it was all because Johnson & Johnson screwed her over and scarred her for life. So anyway, that's what the episodes were, and the the last episode was that they won the thing, but he didn't get hardly any money anyway, and that's the way it is in real life. So
you pay the lawyers off. You don't have anything left.
Yep. It's sad because even when we were in our lawsuit with Johnson & Johnson, the money that she got was so small in compared to what she went through, and it just was a kick in the face. But we had to take it because we were in a class action lawsuit. If we didn't take it, we would have to pay. The law fees for that time period. So it just sucked. Okay, so now Golden Girls. I didn't watch that movie or watch that show either. Producer said that the author called Betty White the C word more than once, and apparently they were not friends. So Betty White apparently did not like working with her. Says that the Golden Girls producer Marsha Posner Williams opened up during a new panel about the alleged feud between B. Arthur and Betty White. She claimed that Arthur frequently called White the C word, and that the series ended because Arthur didn't wish to continue, while previously admitted Arthur was not fond of her. So, I don't know. Betty White I think the problem is that Betty White, everyone liked Betty White. I don't think anybody said anything bad about Betty White except for the author. So, but she lived to be 100, so, oh no, she was just shy a day of being 100, because she was on my death pool, and she helped me win the death pool that year. But that's pretty funny. Guess the hate is real with the author.
It's funny how you can dislike somebody so bad that you quit a show.
Right, a show that's making money too.
Yeah.
Here's a funny one. Speaking of funny, Telegram. You know what Telegram is, right?
It's a what? It's a app.
Yeah, it's a messaging app. The boss, the person that started Telegram, is going to leave his fortune to his children. He has over 100 children. Yeah, well, that's what I said. Then I read the article. So here's how he has 100 children. First off, he has $13 billion. So when he dies, he's going to distribute that to all 100 children. The founder of the instant messaging app Telegram, Pavel Durov, says more than 100 children he has fathered will share an estimated $13 billion. These are my children, and they are my children, and will have the same rights. I don't want to hear each other apart from. I don't want to tear each other apart from my death. Now, here's how he got it. Mr. Durov said he was the official father of 6 children by 3 different partners, but the clinic where I started donating sperm 15 years ago to help a friend told me that more than 100 babies have been conceived this way in 12 countries. That's sad because that means each child's only going to get $1 billion. Or no, less than $1 billion. Oh, I don't know. That's got to be the weirdest article I've ever. I got one last one that we'll finish on that I think you'll like. Let me go back to it. I'm going to find it. It's down at the bottom somewhere. I've gone through a lot of garbage. All right, where's that? Oh, come on. Nothing. Is it way down here? Must be. There. Oh, is that it? No. All right, where is it? Oh, come on. Where's the turtle? Where's the turtle one? Did I delete it by accident? Oh, that's because we're... Okay. Hold on. We'll get it. We got the turtle. Okay, there we go. There it is. Galapagos turtle celebrates his... What birthday do you think he is?
120 years old.
You're really close. 135 years old. And his first Father's Day at the zoo in Miami. It's
First Father's Day at 135?
Yeah. There's hope for me yet.
Yes, there is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, no, it's not. Come on, print. Here we go. There we go. The South Florida Zoo's oldest resident celebrated his 131st birthday and his first Father's Day on Sunday. Goliath, a 517-pound Galapagos tortoise at a zoo at Zoo Miami, became the father for the first time earlier this month. Goliath is my hero, and I'm sure he'll soon be an inspiration to many others. He's living proof that when there's a will, there's a way, and to never give up. Having a kid? Oh, I don't know what that means. Here he is. That's a freaking big turtle.
They make a lot of good turtle soup.
Oh, man. Look how big he is compared to the man. When I say 500 pounds, oh, it says 1 egg out of a clutch of 8 laid on January 27th, successfully hatched on June 4th. Besides being Goliath's first offspring, it was the first time that a picture showed up when I was trying to read. It was the first time one of the endangered reptiles has hatched at a zoo at Zoo Miami. The animal numbers were drastically reduced before the 20th century by human exploitation and the introduction of invasive species into Galapagos Islands. Modern threats include climate change and habitat loss. According to Goliath's official record, he hatched on the island of Santa Cruz June 15th, between 1885 and 1890, the island group is located near the equator in the Pacific Island, several hundred miles west of the mainland Ecuador. So there you go. Oh wow, look at that. That's the side. There's the little one. Oh man. I don't know. I wouldn't even know what to think about something like that. That's interesting that that little thing is going to become that big thing. So, well, any final thoughts?
135 years old and just became a dad.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't get past that.
Oh man, that to me. I can't believe how big he is. I've never seen any turtles that big. I don't think I've ever even seen them at a zoo that big.
Well, it was a good show, but
Yeah,
I got up on my high horse a little bit, but it was a good show.
that's okay. That's what you're here for. You're here to be on your high horse. So, all right. Well, I'll talk to you next week. I'll be somewhat here. Depends what time I get home and what day I get
I
home.
will try to have a lot of material.
I will have things I'll be talking about, I'm sure, because I usually have things from those meetings, and they have a full schedule of things for us to do. So yeah, if you have stuff, that'd be great. If not,
I have enough to carry us if we run into town.
well, I usually babble for 2 hours. A couple times I did this show alone for those periods of time when I come back, and I'll tell you, I don't even know what I said the day before or the day out. So, but it's usually somewhat entertaining because you're talking to a guy that had driven for 16 hours straight or whatever. So it's kind of cool. But I'm looking forward to going, but yet I'm not looking forward to going. You know, it's like I know that this is one of my last photo shoots with these guys. Got one more. The next one is in LA, and that's when I'm going to pitch my show to some LA guys while I'm out there. And, I just kind of, I dread it because I don't really want to drive that much, but I really want to see Rich. I haven't seen him in a while. So I'll see him on the way down, and then on the way back, just cruise until I get here. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it. Guess that's now I just gotta wait for the thing to come up. Here we go.